thing work? Hi, I'm very nervous, but that fits my topic. I'm Lotte van den Berg. I'm 18. I study at BUAS, second year, so I have a lot of labels. I also have GAD. It's called Generalized Anxiety Disorder, another label. I got the diagnosis not too long ago, almost exactly when I started this personal expedition. But the word GAD was new to me. So the first thing I did was Google it, like everyone else. And Google says, GAD is characterized by persistent and excessive worry. People with GAD may anticipate disaster and may be overly concerned. Well, that fits me, because I worry a lot. Also about this. I can give you another example. When I was younger, we learned about those little ticks, those bugs who can give you Lyme disease. I was about 8 years old, and I checked myself a lot, even when I didn't even go outside, just because I was so scared of getting the disease. And even now, 10 years later, when I go into nature, I'm still overly scared of them, just because 8-year-old me learned about them once. Another example is I'm always scared of getting a heart attack. Nothing behind it, I'm perfectly healthy, I hope. So before therapy, what I did every day, I put my hand like this, and I felt if my heart was still beating and if it still worked. Well, it did, because I'm still here. So the diagnosis fits me. Well, I knew the word anxiety already, because I'm a lot on my phone. I'm not the only one here, I can assume. You think about Netflix, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, Be Real, the newest thing. And anxiety was always everywhere. The media influences our view on mental illnesses very much. But I want to focus on anxiety during this presentation, during this pie talk. Anxiety is a normal feeling of worry we all get about school, your work, your private life, the pie talks. But if you have a disorder, it takes us a lot further, like I explained. But social media is taking this border away between having normal human anxiety and having an actual disorder. And I'm going to show you a little video where it shows a part of the view that social media has on anxiety. I hope it's not too loud. Can I play it? Okay.
Anxiety is literally nothing more than you thinking about something in the future and thinking about it in a manner where it starts to sound an alarm in your body. First of all, if you catch yourself worrying, if you catch yourself out in the future catastrophizing, if you catch yourself in that, what if this, what if that, if you let your thoughts spin, it will spin you out of control, and then you're going to start to feel anxious. And so you want to count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And one of the best, most effective things you can insert as a different pattern is this. What if it all works out? What if it all works out? What if I get on this plane and even though it's bumpy, it still lands and it all works out? Because you can't argue with that.
Perfect photos that relieve anxiety. Here we go. Let's see this. What do we got? Oh, that's nice. Oh, these are real. Oh my. Oh, this is perfect.
I have this for me, okay? This is something that I use with my clients and that I use with myself. So if you find yourself like ruminating at night or just during the day and you can't get your head out of the thought, give yourself a worry time out. I've said this before, but literally schedule yourself as if it was an appointment. Like, okay, you get 5 minutes to worry about everything you need to fucking worry about. And then when you're done, if you need to redo another 5 minutes, be like, okay, 5 more minutes, bitch. And then do another 5 minutes. But after that, be done. And be like, okay, well, if I need to revisit you, you can schedule another appointment.
honestly, if you're someone who struggles with anxiety after a night of heavy drinking, the very best thing you can do for yourself is get into the cold water. It's going to be tough, yes, but once you get into that cold water, you're literally going to feel all them negative feelings leave your body.
You suffer from really bad panic attacks or really bad anxiety. I'm going to show you 4 products that you always should have on hand. First one is magnesium. I'm not kidding, this is my saving grace. I do not go a night without taking this. So the next one's kind of an either or situation. They're both amino acids, so it's either L-tryptophan, which I would recommend if your anxiety stems from overthinking and like anxiety of thoughts, or GABA if it's more in your body. The next one's kind of an either or situation again. So Rescue Remedy, I've been taking this, I'm not even kidding, since I was 10 years old, and I keep it in my purse at all times. It's amazing. It's literally a Bach flower. You can look them up. The next one is called Anxious Moment, which is one of my newer ones that I've added to my routine. It's just herbs and it has a bunch of different things. I will say that the first second you spray it, it does kind of have like a tingling sensation in your mouth, which you think will almost give you more anxiety, but for some reason it takes your mind off the anxiety and works really well.
It's another psychological trick that will blow your mind. And it goes like this. If you are distressed, feeling anxiety or negative emotions overall, just do this. Lean back, tilt your eyes slightly backwards, and then your head. And you will instantly feel relief and calmness.
Can we do that? Can we all look up? Just look up. Did it fix you? Are you fixed? Well, of course it didn't fix us. Like the blanket or the magnesium or whatever they're talking about, it's not gonna magically make everything go away. I'm not saying everything they say is totally wrong. I'm saying most of the things they told us are just normal human being feelings. What the second one was talking about, the what if it all works out, it's a form of therapy. It's called cognitive something therapy. It's a kind of therapy where you learn to deal with your negative emotions and feelings. But she makes it seem like it's done in 2 seconds, like you just magically change your mindset, even though it's a kind of therapy that takes a long time, not only for anxiety, but for example, other mental illnesses like depression. It could take a long time to get to that mindset, and it still doesn't always work because it's not easily done like she says. So we all know these kind of videos shouldn't be your source when talking about this subject. You shouldn't just believe everything they say. But not everyone knows this. When scrolling through these videos who have thousands and millions of views and likes and comments, mostly young teenagers get really scared and believing them without actually talking to someone professional. And when we look at the woman talking about literal medicine, people just take her word for granted and go buy them and take them every night, even though it could be very harmful and it's not something that it's magically fixing you. But so the media really influences our view on all these kind of mental illnesses. But these are just a few videos, right? But they can do a lot more than we think. Mental illnesses are very stigmatized in all these social medias, but not only social media, but also in the streaming media, like the movies you like or the series. Mental illnesses are villainized and stigmatized a lot. If we look at a few examples, when we look at the Joker, the arch enemy of Batman, he uses his mental illness to justify his actions, even though we all know what he does isn't perfectly the right thing. Another really good example is the movie Split. It's about a movie. A guy has DID. It's called dissociative identity disorder. And he kidnaps 3 girls, 3 high school girls. What the disorder normally is about, if you have multiple personalities in your brain because of trauma when you were a kid, and they cause that you act differently at different sort of times. They're different people living inside your head. But they took this mental illness and made it into their villain. So when we talk about DID, the first thing you're going to think about is this villain from this movie, except the real life people living with the disorder. So we have a lot of sides to how everything is represented. And the one side is all the simplified symptoms, like I showed you, just the normal human being feelings. And on the other side, you have people using it for attention. I did a survey where I asked people their view on anxiety. And a lot of people said, it's only people looking for attention, or it's only jokes about it, so that takes away its seriousness. It really has. I'm going to show you one more video. Don't worry, it's not 3 minutes, like 30 seconds, where you can see these simplified symptoms that show that everyone has it, even though it's very personal.
Put a finger down anxiety challenge. Please do like this video and share your results to help spread anxiety awareness. Put a finger down if you find it hard to stop worrying. Put a finger down if you worry constantly about the future. Put a finger down if you have a lot of what-if thoughts. Put a finger down if you get anxious or upset when things change last minute. Put a finger down if you can't stand even the smallest uncertainties. Put a finger down if you're constantly restless or on edge. Put a finger down if you experience brain fog or your mind's going blank. Put a finger down if you can be very irritable. Put a finger down if you deal with muscle or head tension. And put a finger down if you find it difficult to fall or stay asleep. How many?
Okay, so who had more than 3 of these symptoms? You can raise your hand. Well, you all have very heavy anxiety, you should get help. Well, this is of course not how it works. He cannot tell you what you have. I can't tell you what you have. Anxiety is very personal, and if you really struggle with that much, you have to, I'm not saying you have to, but it's good to get professional help instead of listening to him or anyone else on the internet. But these are all how stigmas are made. A stigma is when someone views you in a negative way because of something, like a characteristic you have, that may be or may not be a disadvantage. So why put so much effort into this subject? Why research it? I'm not going to be able to change the whole media or change the Hollywood films, but I'm asking you just to think before you assume. If you see a movie like Split or you see other villainized mental illnesses, think. If you see a video like this, think for yourself and do your own research. I learned a lot about my own disorder during this personal expedition. I'm very glad I did it about this. And that's why I wanted to share, and I hope you guys can share so that in little steps it gets everywhere. Thank you.